So Kanye said he was the number one writer in the world, right? So this brings up the problem of what's called the problem of expertise. Okay, so how do you know, or how can you assess whether or not Kanye is right about Kanye being the number one writer in the world? Okay, the issue with assessing expertise is that you need to be an expert to be able to assess the expertise of someone claiming to be an expert. And this is the conundrum that you will face when you are like trying to pick a personal trainer, trying to pick a doctor, trying to pick someone to help you with a very specific thing that you may not have expertise in. So Kanye is playing a game here. He knows there's no actual way for you to ascertain or assess or figure out whether he is the number one greatest writer of all time, you know? What are the objective criteria for that? There may not be any objective criteria for that. What are the subjective criteria for that? The subjective criteria will be the experts at in the field or domain of which they are claiming to be an expert. You know, it's very difficult, and this is always going to be the conundrum that you're going to face when you're picking a trainer or a fitness expert for your training. You're not. It's very hard to figure out. So how do you assess? How do you figure out who is the right expert, who is most expert, or who is the expert you want to work with? It's going to have to come down to the results they've gotten with other people. So you're going to have to go, via referral. You're going to have to look up testimonials, online on Google, which can mostly be fake. Or you can, ask your friends if they've used someone in the same domain or field. Then you can use some intuition, use your gut feel to figure out if this person is, a person of integrity, number one. Do they have the ethical and moral characteristics of someone you would want to associate with? So it's never going to be clean cut. It's always going to be somewhat guesswork when you have to try to figure out which expert you want to work with, which expert trainer you want to work with. It's always going to be that. The one thing is you want to always immediately go beyond the superficial. And by that I mean something very simple. In the same way that a billionaire is not going to be able to teach you how to make money due to luck being a critically important factor, and you can look this up, research by Daniel Kahneman, who won a Nobel Prize in economics. He will tell you this, that luck is a critical factor in all sorts of success, whether it's financial success or whether it's fitness success. Okay, so if someone wins the Mr. Olympia, it's not because he worked any harder. Okay, athlete number 1,000, 10,000 worked just as hard as athlete number 1. Okay, athlete number 1 just has a stroke of genetic luck on his side that enables his input to give him much greater output. Okay? When all those factors come together, when nature and nurture come together in just the right combination, sequence, and time, it can manifest as what we, want to call measurable success. So don't be deluded by that. It's important that you take that into consideration when you're looking for someone to help you with a specific topic. The 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics is being given to a few scientists who have proven that the world is not locally real. I'm not going to try to get into describing what that means technically, because I haven't actually read the papers. But I do know what the research interpreted means, okay? Because this idea has been around for a long time. They've just proven it, okay? And it comes to us from the double slit experiments, or spooky action at a distance, if you're following Einstein's work. So the idea is this, that the world is a product or manifestation of interaction between subjective experience and some sort of objective stuff. Okay, and that the objective stuff may just be within subjective experience instead of subjective experience being within objective stuff. Now, how does that help you with your fitness? It helps in a very, very powerful way. What this justifies is the effect of belief on your fitness results, on the physiological adaptations and responses of your body to training and diet. Okay? Because if you, which is basically, and I don't want to use the word because the word has some negative connotations, but this is the idea of the effectiveness or the remarkable effectiveness of placebo. Okay, basically, if you believe in a thing or a substance or a technique or a procedure to be able to produce a certain result, it is very likely that your body will manifest that result, okay, or that adaptation. So this idea of your mentation producing adaptations, which is placebo, becomes very real and very justified via physics because of the 2022 Nobel Prize. So if you believe in your training and if you believe in your diet, you're more likely than ever now, because now you have further reifying beliefs for placebo, for the control of your mentality over your physiology or your physicality. So now you'll be able to, justify that, if you have belief, solid belief in your training, in your coach, in your diet, and in your diet coaching, that you will produce the results you want. Andrew Tate, to me, is not a good guy or a bad guy. I'm very neutral about him. He's not wrong or right. He's sometimes right. A broken watch or broken clock is right twice a day. Okay, that's how I look at it. He's right about a few things. That doesn't mean anything. Okay, now here's the thing about Mr. Tate. He has just found a way to get by in the world, and he is reinforcing that algorithm that he's figured out has produced some success, and he's reinforcing that algorithm. He's got a certain input that has given him a certain output, and he's got that input on steroids. Okay, so he's maximizing his output. So this is not a good guy or a bad guy. This is a guy just like me and you, with certain beliefs that are nice and certain beliefs that are absolutely horrendous, and mostly in the middle. I don't have much of an opinion on him, except that he's mostly as wrong as anyone else is mostly wrong. He's just right a few times, and those few times that he's right seems to have given him a reputation of him being more right than he's wrong. Okay, I don't think he's very sophisticated. I don't think he's very savvy or anything like that. And let's be honest, he made most of his first batch of money from selling pornography. He calls it therapy, but it's pornography. When you put women naked in front of a camera and sell their bodies digitally online to millions of people across the world, that's pornography. Let's be really honest about that. That's what it is, and I think he should be refunding every single guy that has ever paid him for those first $5 to $10 million that he made in order to justify the fact that he is now a Muslim. Okay, so the read only if you are very rich, or rich and fit personal training, or personal training for the rich and famous. This angle that we took, this marketing angle that we took, was very intentional. It was to irk people, but also to be a very specific sort of bait for people that are very positive about money. Okay? Most rich people have a pretty positive attitude about money. Okay? The problem is that people that are not wealthy, misconstrued it to indicate or mean that we were anti-poor, that because we were promoting the idea of wanting to work with wealthy clients, that we were somehow haters of people that couldn't afford us. And that's fine if you want to interpret it that way, and I'm okay with that. You can believe that as much as you want. Whatever generates controversy in this day and age is, that's the only way to generate business. And that's the truth of the matter. If it's not controversial, no one's going to pay attention. And that's what it was. Do I hate poor people? No. Who hates poor people? Like, why would anyone hate poor people? What's the reason to hate poor people? But there's no reason in my mind and soul to hate someone for being rich in and of itself. Okay? Yeah, I can hate someone for how they became rich. Okay? But I'm not going to hate someone for how they became poor or why they are poor. That's kind of silly and stupid. But you know what? As long as it generates controversy, it brings in business. And that's basically the story behind it. And, that's it.
For more info, visit www.richandfit.com.